African penguin is one of the priority species for us as an organization. We were part of the population assessment for the species in 2016, and it has been recommended that the status remain as endangered, largely because of the continued decline of the species. The Stony Point colony is one of 17 colonies of African penguins globally, and why it's of particular importance to us is that in recent years it's followed a very different population trajectory to most of the other colonies. It's the largest African penguin colony in the Western Cape and third largest in South Africa. And if we can unpack reasons that are driving the population dynamics at Stony Point, it's also going to help us identify factors that are contributing to declines in colonies elsewhere. In order for us to effectively manage this colony, we need the scientific data to guide and support decision making. In order to do this, Cape Nature has initiated a monitoring and research program. Some of the projects in our monitoring program include collecting data that feeds into understanding the population dynamics of the birds. We also collect data on breeding success, which helps us interpret how the birds are utilizing their habitat and what habitat is promoting better breeding success than others. We have a look at the condition of chicks, and that gives us an indication into the local availability of food out in the ocean. And so all of these things help us build a picture into how the penguins are not only utilizing the habitat within the terrestrial part of the Stony Point colony, but also the marine environment adjacent. South Africa has a management plan that documents the actions required for the conservation of the African penguin. And Cape Nature is part of a number of forums where we engage with other managing authorities, NGOs and scientific researchers, where we discuss best practice in order to achieve the actions required of this plan. Cape Nature also really values working collaboratively with local and international scientists, and so as part of our research program we've actively pursued partnerships to roll out our research needs. We have a very exciting project that will be starting this year where we're going to be looking at the foraging ecology of African penguins as well as Cape cormorants at Stony Point and also Dyer Island, which is about 50 kilometers from Stony Point. And by understanding how the birds are utilizing their marine environment and comparing it between a colony that's showing a population increase of seabirds to that which showing a decrease, we're also hoping that that will give us some clues into how the birds are utilizing the environment and what are the key drivers of the population trends.
SANCCOB and Cape Nature have a long-standing partnership, and it's such an important partnership that we have with them because we receive a lot of birds from Stony Point every year. There's several hundred that are abandoned. The chicks are abandoned by their parents every year and they have to be rescued. If they're not rescued, they absolutely will die of starvation. So when the parents go into molt, they abandon their chicks and the colony staff will pull them out of the colony and bring them to SANCCOB. So we work with Cape Nature. Not only do we rehab the birds, but we bring them back. We liaise with Cape Nature about the best possible times to pull the birds out and the times to release them back into the wild as well. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. One of the other threats that face the African penguin is chronic oil spilling or huge oil spill events, as we've seen in '94 with the Apollo and then in 2000 with the Treasure oil spill. And Cape Nature and SANCCOB work together in order to rescue these oil birds from the colony and then obviously bring them through to SANCCOB for treatment and cleaning and then release again.
The Stony Point African penguin colony is located right on the edge of the Pettis Bay community. Cape Nature takes cognizance of all the neighbors and stakeholders that are involved in the colony. We also don't work in isolation. We make use of the knowledge of the local and international scientists to inform our decision making.